to another episode of Our Opinion. Today we're filming in Charlotte, North Carolina. We finally have an opportunity to sit here again with Nicole. We're very excited. Unfortunately, Kim could not be here with us in Charlotte, but she is here with us via satellite. So my name is Tamika.
I'm Rosalind.
I'm Nicole.
And I'm Kim.
And today's topic is going to be things that can make or break a relationship. So I kind of wanted to touch on marriage, things that could make or break relationships with marriages. And I say that because there have been times where I've heard the saying, it may be two people who have dated for 5-6 plus years. And then I'm going to just say primarily the female is kind of basically hitting around like, it's time to be married now. We've been together 5-6 years. I don't want to really continue on this way. We've been together all this time. Let's just go ahead and do the doggone thing. And the guy will kind of be against it. You get that, well, what's the purpose of being married? We've been together all this time and, or you get the, it's not nothing but a sheet of paper, so what do you guys feel about that? Or how do you feel about that?
Well, I personally feel one of the biggest reasons why couples stay together for a long time and are apprehensive about marriage is because for some reason, once you get married after being together for a number of years, things seem to just change. And
I'm sorry.
No, they do. Seriously. You see couples together for about 10 years and then they get married and you hear about them after 6 months and they're divorced.
But why?
Because again, it's a different expectation for some reason that is put on you once your last name changes. And that actually was one of my fears. I was with my boyfriend at the time for 9 years before we were married. And we had to have a long conversation about that. Just absolutely, we don't want anything to change. Everything, if it's not, broke, don't fix it. So I think that's one reason anyway, as to what one of the issues would be. One of the issues would be.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can see that. I can see that, but the only thing I think I agree with that is, maybe having a conversation if that's a concern. Like, let's just make sure nothing changed once we get married. But I just really truly feel like if you're going to be with somebody, because that's the type of person I am. Like, I just don't feel the need to be with nobody for no 5, 10, 15 years talking about we just dating. Like, if we're going to be together that long, I personally feel like, you know what I'm saying, I would want to be married, because if there was no potential to even marry that person, I wouldn't be with them for 15 years or 10 years. There has to be something that's keeping me there. So my thing is, if I'm going to be there that long, then I should get the benefit of being married to that individual. That's my personal opinion, though.
Well,
how do you feel?
My opinion is it definitely has to be reciprocal.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So one person might feel one way and the other person might feel another way. And to me, I believe that you will be able to see it in the midst of the relationship.
Agreed.
I feel like
Agreed.
If you have to give somebody an alternative, then I don't believe that somebody is not ready.
Correct.
To even, give them that choice. And also, if somebody is in a relationship and you've been together for over 5 years and one person don't want to get married, you have to respect that. So then you have to step back and say, do I want to continue on another 5 years? Or
Correct.
Is it time for me to move on?
Correct. Agreed.
Because it totally has to be reciprocal. We can want whatever we want to want, but it has to be a two-way street.
Of course.
What about outside individuals who pressure comes from? Because you placed pressure. You actually were one of the only individuals who placed pressure on me.
You told me that
get
too.
married.
I did, like,
But and so,
When
what was your reason though?
Spiritual.
It was a spiritual reason for me, because me growing up in the church and me raising my children and myself, and having a foundation and having a personal relationship with God. I remember when I did used to tell Nikki, and when her and was dating, and basically they were shacking up. Why aren't you married? You guys have a beautiful relationship. You guys are, you having a family together, you doing all this, you playing house, blah, blah, blah. Why aren't you married?
But that kind of goes with what I was saying,
Right.
because that's how I feel. But again, it had to be with what both parties wanted to do. I'm in agreement with that.
Exactly.
But that is my thought process.
Exactly. But Nikki, she didn't really care about marriage too much then. I don't think, she would always be like, if it's not broke, why fix it? But for me, because of spiritual reasons, I felt like that you should be, if you together that long. But now, I don't really feel like that.
Well, we're gonna get back to why you don't feel like that now, Kim. Let's get your feedback. How do you feel about the conversation thus far?
And honestly, I just think that the signs are normally there in the beginning if one person doesn't want to be married. I mean, that's just how it would be. If a person is going to wait 5 years to ask to get married, then they don't really want to be married to begin with. And a lot of times, I mean, it could very well be that once they do finally get married, and the reason why it does not last is because they were pressured to get married when originally they didn't want to get married to begin with. They already, had the house. They already have the kids, the dog, and the white fence. They just don't see the need to, take that extra step when everything is already there. I think that's something that has to be established at the beginning of the relationship. And I think that, at that point, if that is established, then there's no need to wait. But that's my opinion on it. And everybody is different.
Well, let me say this then. That kind of helps me to transition into this next question. Why is it, ladies, let me just get your opinion. Why is it kind of like, back in the day, marriage was really more relevant. Today, marriage is not as relevant as it was back in the day. And I think we slightly touched on, possible reasons why, very lightly. But, Nick.
Okay, we can go on with that forever. But
Yes.
before going into that, I just wanted to say, I read a statistic somewhere that said 7 out of 10 men actually only get married for the woman, not the man. That a man can be with the woman for 40 years and just be fine, just how the relationship is. That if he's married, it doesn't necessarily even have to be pressure from the woman, but he knows we want to be married. We want that family foundation, that unit, that if he actually proposes, it's not for him, that it's for us. So I just wanted to actually just throw that out there.
Okay.
But one of the reasons why I feel like it is not as relevant today as it was back then is just because simply on us. It's not the man. Again, it falls on us. We don't set that standard.
Today.
We set
What's
that
different?
today.
I'm saying
that's what I'm
versus.
saying today.
Okay.
That standard today is set so low,
It is.
and that,
It
or
is.
again, that expectation is set. It's just set so low.
You're saying it very nicely.
The traditions, the values,
Yes.
the morals, everything.
Yes.
They're all just set just extremely, extremely low. Just from 10 years ago, definitely 40 years ago, from our grandparents, from our great grandparents.
Yes. TV today, what TV show, to our young girls, today, it's just what's that saying? I know everybody grandparent has said at one point in time, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Yeah. So it's kind of I think one of those situations. I just think, today, and I think it's unfortunate. I just feel like today young girls they don't step their game up. They just don't. I don't think that they do.
And
I think they really just give up so much so fast sometimes.
I think it also has to do with, and I might be stressing it a little,
Why not?
but because I like TV, and a lot of things that they put on TV is like everyday life. It has to do with finances also. A lot of times people get together. I was watching this episode of Good Times, and I know that's like way, way, way back, but it was an episode where James' father was with this, and he's an older guy, and he was with this this young lady. Well, you know, she was older also, but they wanted to get married, but because of the finances, and she wasn't going to be able to keep her Social Security check, and him, they just kind of like they really loved on each other, but they shacked up together because of the finances. Because if they would have gotten married, then they wasn't going to be able to get, you know, be able to afford to actually just live. And I believe that people also do that. Is it right or is it wrong? If you want to get biblical about it, you know, if you have some type of standards on the Bible and what, you know, thus might say the Lord, yeah, it might be wrong, but, you know, to each his own. You know, you have to have your own personal relationship with God in order for you to be able to decide if you want to do that. But finances has a lot to do with it also. And a lot of times people get married for finances, not because this person have this or this person have that, but because so we can basically survive, come together.
But I'm saying, yeah, and I agree with that. But I'm saying, why are women not getting married today?
Well, I also think it has a lot to do with
they were back in the day.
Well,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, you don't want to get married. A lot of it has to do with infidelity as well, because you feel like you're not going to get married because you don't feel like you're going to put the trust in the man, or you feel like he's not going to, you know, be faithful. Or maybe I was married before and, you know, I was so hurt, I don't want to get married again. I just want to just, you know, be free and just live single because of what I may have went through in my first relationship, you know. So I think that plays a part in it. I think the man, you know, he doesn't want to propose, or he doesn't want to be married because, again, why should he propose, or why should he make that commitment when
he has everything?
He has everything.
He has the kids. They have the house, financial. You living together, everything.
You're doing everything.
And I know back in the day, that's my point though. Today, I think making it easy, but I think back in the day, you know, women got married, and I do agree it was a lot of
Tamika, it's not really making it easy. I think that if you have never seen what a marriage looks like or what a married relationship is like, then you probably tend not to gravitate towards that because you don't know what it is, really.
That's true.
If your parents you've never seen your parents together, or, you know, and he has never seen his parents together, then I mean, they didn't.
There's nothing in my mind.
I agree.
So I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
I totally agree with that. And then some people stay in a relationship, and I'm just saying, you know, I'm going a little further, but some people stay in marriages because of that reason, you know, because they feel like although the love is gone or whatever, or just everything, you know, is gone, but they feel like, well, we did this, so we gonna just be miserable in it together.
Convenience, or you feel like, why leave when I'm gonna get with somebody else, and after 6 months I'm gonna go through the same thing.
Exactly.
I know what heartache or what headache I'm gonna go with here.
Right.
I don't know what headache or heartache I'm gonna go with over there. So let me stay with what's comfortable with, you know, for me.
Correct.
So.
Okay. So I think we touched on marriage a little bit. That was pretty cool. What do you guys feel about like relocating? Like how relocating could affect relationships or make or break relationships? Make them stronger or make them worse? You know.
I think on either end. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kim.
Oh no, I was going to say it could go either way.
Yeah.
I mean, in some instances, I think that when a couple relocate, you know, everything changes. Everybody's role can possibly change.
Yeah.
So with that, you know, with that happening, if everybody doesn't recognize what lane they're supposed to be in, then it could be uncomfortable. And on top of that, I mean, we're talking about the stress of the kids and making sure that the kids are okay and that they're going to, the proper schools and all that stuff. So that could also create an extra stress. But I do believe on the flip side, if everybody understands and everything goes kind of according to plan, which it never does, that it could actually bring everybody closer together.
Mm-hmm. Now that's speaking of a situation where everybody relocates together. What if you're in a relationship and one party leaves and the other party stays, which is something I definitely can relate to. So where
what do you
my
think?
My significant other relocated. And I did not, and trying to make that work was like a 2-year process of trying to make it work, but it was very difficult, you know what I'm saying? So it didn't work, but I felt good because at least you tried, to say, hey, let's try this out. But being apart like that just doesn't work. Mm-hmm. It's just, you can try, you can FaceTime, you can talk. It's just not the same. Not when you're in a relationship, for me, not when you're in a relationship with somebody that you're used to being with every day. And then that relocation thing kicks in. It just doesn't work.
Well, I guess expectation and that has to be set. I mean, it's not like, okay, you're moving to another state. There has to be some type of plan there in regards to what's going to happen next.
Correct.
Yes, you're going to move, but where do we go from here?
Correct.
Am I going to relocate to where you are?
Correct.
Are you planning on coming back to me? Are we going to meet mutually and find some other place to go together?
Correct.
But if that expectation is not set in the beginning, then it's a free-for-all. Everybody can do what they want to do.
Yeah.
I think that's true as well, but sometimes even if that expectation is set, like she said earlier, things don't always go as planned, and then that also goes against that old saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder. That doesn't necessarily, and then it always has to be, you have to have a lot of trust.
Yes.
You have to have a whole lot of trust. You know what I mean? In that individual.
Yes.
So, and you're going to have a lot of ups and downs. You're going to have your good days. You're going to have your bad days.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's just, that can make or really, really break a relationship. So,
and it broke mine.
I believe.
However, we're really good friends. We're good, but
yeah. But I believe trust and loyalty has a lot to do with it outside of communication. Yeah. You have to communicate with each other. You should. I believe that in that relationship, if you're in a relationship before that person moved, not. You met somebody out of town,
right? Which was not my
exactly.
That was not my situation.
If you're already in that relationship and one party wanted to move out of town, then communication should be there. Like that should be discussed before you guys moved, and you kind of know. To me, I believe that you should know where it's gonna go even before you even think about it.
Correct.
Because of the loyalty and the trust and the friendship.
Yes.
Because if you have that friendship, even if it doesn't work, the friendship is still going to be there.
Yes.
So I believe you know which way it's going to go regardless. And sometimes it does work. It don't always not work. Sometimes it does work. And sometimes people can have long distance relationships, and it does work.
It just depends. It just depends on what it is that you
require, what you expect.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Okay. All right. So.
I require a little more wine right now. That would be great.
That would be wonderful.
You and me both, Nicole.
I'm good.
Speaking.
I'm just being a little thin. I can't leave the camera.
I just wanted to, speaking of, relationships and having a lot of trust, that kind of segues into our next topic of having a alternative relationship. What do you guys think about that? I know that has kind of been in the... I'm sorry?
I'm not doing it.
She didn't even let me finish. Well, not necessarily. I'm saying, why do you think that it's really, really popular nowadays as far as individuals having open marriages or open relationships, and it seems to work nowadays.
I don't know, but I think I'm gonna steal something from you.
Okay, I'm just gonna give my opinion on it, and for the record, no, I don't have one. I'm not gonna have one. So I'm just putting that out there. I'm just giving my opinion on why I think it does work for individuals just by listening to people talk on social media and things like that. I think some women feel like because things like if their man is going to cheat anyway, then I'd rather for him to be honest and upfront about it,
or do it where I'm present, so I can see what's going on and how things are going on. So
right, exactly. Some women feel like, hey, spicing up the bedroom, so that may be their reason for bringing a third party, into the relationship.
Or they just do it for their man. It's not even necessarily anything that they want to do.
Are you getting a plug for TV One?
I know, right? I know, but no. But yeah, for my man, that show, I see it all the time.
For their women,
and that's what I was telling her. It's not always about both, right? That's right. That's what I'm saying. Because when me and Tamika were discussing this, I was saying everyone always wants to think that it benefits only one part. Well, when it's an open relationship, both parties are doing it. Yeah. Now, I don't understand that because I feel that both parties are doing it. Why not just be friends and just do what you're going to do? But I don't understand. But
what's the purpose of being in a relationship? Then that way you can just do what you want to do.
Hey, I don't know. Would
I be wrong if I say I think it's disgusting?
That's your opinion. No, absolutely not.
This is our opinion.
No,
it's
no judgment here. It's just
I just think that's disgusting.
No.
I do, and I don't even know. I'm kind of like speechless on the subject, but I don't think that's right. I mean, we supposed to be, have one person. Like, I just,
But like she said, other people, but different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely.
I want my own man. I just put it like that. I desire to have my own man. I don't want to share him with anyone.
I know that's right.
Therefore, that's why, yes, although that I'm single right now, I desire to be married again. I want my own man. I don't want to share my man with anyone.
And you might be scared because the new girl might come in and do some tricks that you might not know and take your man.
Exactly. And speaking of that, I think a whole new category that I don't even think fits into that. I think people are making it a part of that and then wearing it as a badge of honor. The side chicks that can go into a whole new. Anyway.
Yeah, that's another show.
Okay.
My nerves so bad.
I know.
And do y'all know that it's a reality show? I know y'all talked about this last week, but it's a reality show coming out. It is all about side chicks.
And they're like, okay,
all about side. You crossing the line.
They cool. You go home, be with your family, do the Christmas thing. I don't care. Just pay my rent, give me my money, let me go buy some bags, and they're okay with it. They're totally fine with it. I mean, I'm not judging.
Well, I think right after the side chick reality show goes off, then Snap gonna come on, and it's gonna segue off of that. Okay, that's all. Yeah. So
that's funny.
yeah. Well, to each his own.
I believe to each his own too, but
to each his own. Some people do it, like she said, to spice it up. Some people do it to,
I think more so from the conversations and being on social media a little bit too much than I should be during my downtime is more so they doing it for their man. You know what I mean? And I think that's just an insecurity thing more so than anything. Because whether he's going to cheat or whatever the case may be, if you're doing it because you're trying to keep him, then it's a lot of issues and inner self. You need to look within your inner self and work on some things if it's for that reason.
You definitely have to know your worth.
But what if it is some women that want to do it and it's none of those
then there's no judgment there.
Right. That's what they want to do.
Right. Then there's no judgment there. I said if it's for the sole purpose that you don't really want to do this, but you're doing it because you don't want to lose the man. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And I believe a large number of women.
Yeah, I would too. I would believe.
You know what I
What are you
mean?
doing it for
Yeah,
the man?
because he's twisting your arm and things like that to bring these extra parties into your bedroom. And then I didn't believe it at first, but the more and more I read about soul ties, you know what I mean? About what was it? Yeah, soul ties, when you just bring in too many and you intertwining with different souls.
people.
Yeah, I absolutely. The more and more I read, it's absolutely.
I believe that. I believe that your soul is intertwined,
Yeah.
like with your significant other or your partner, and if you have multiple partners like that,
Just because you didn't got up and walked
They're
away
just
from that
all-
bed or walked away from that experience with him or her doesn't mean that that's just complete. It doesn't mean you're just done. It doesn't. So I just wanted to just touch on that a little bit, and then you can segue, especially from when we talked about the side chick thing and that the going into girl code. I think that would be breaking the girl code, or Rise, whomever, or
well,
whomever.
Kim,
Yeah.
you can segue into that. And to breaking the girl code, what do you feel about, what would you consider that being? Like, what would you consider a girl code? And breaking the girl code. Because it could be multiple things.
A girl code would be something as we as friends have a underlying understanding of, what is expected of us as women, and for you to go and break that, because that would be a topic for breaking the code. I mean, there's so many different ones to speak of. I mean, I have some personally. Some people I don't want to just throw out there, but I think that if you go behind my back and discuss our conversations with our significant others, that could be considered a breaking of the girl code.
Yes.
I think that if in the event that we're out and I see your boyfriend or your man with somebody, at that point, if I don't tell you, that may be considered breaking of the girl code.
I want to touch on that one. I want to touch on that one, Kim, because I've always been torn with that one a little bit, because it's kind of like, you have your friend, and this is your friend, and they have this beautiful family, and everything's good. And you perhaps find out something or see something, and it's like that moment where if you go and you tell your friend the situation, you may have potentially, wrecked their whole household. And as a friend, do you really want to be
You
responsible?
didn't wreck their household.
The household
The
was already
husband wrecked their household.
And the household
your
was
boyfriend
already
wrecked their
wrecked.
household.
Because I had a situation like that where someone had said something to me in the past about they had saw someone, and they actually didn't tell me until afterwards. And I was really hurt about it because it was already ruined anyway, but I just felt like, how could you not tell me?
Yeah.
Well, I made my
All my
stance
friends
very
know
clear.
I'm a tell, but
Well,
I'm
no.
just saying, it goes
Yes.
both ways.
Right, but I made my stance, I think, very clear with all my friends what my position is on that, and y'all already know how I feel about that.
She has.
And not only that, like I've already explained, it's only certain individuals that I feel that can come and tell me things.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
that's true.
Everybody can't come to my door
Exactly.
and tell me certain
Because
things.
everybody's
You know what
not
I mean?
coming with
Everybody,
good
exactly.
intention. Correct.
So, and we also discussed as far as where I'm torn, and especially back in the day when we were younger, that certain friend that's going to get upset if you tell them things, or you feel like, well, why am I going to keep telling if you keep this? She's going to keep going back and going back. But wait, it is, but it's not, because then that's your choice. You know what I'm saying? That's your choice if you keep going back. But that one friend that may have that manipulative husband or boyfriend that's going to say, well, that B is just jealous, or you gonna believe her over me, or she's weak, so she lets him get in her head, and then she's looking at you a certain type of way.
And
you know
then
what I mean?
fall out.
Right,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But you know,
It creates
I feel like long as I did my job, you know what I mean? So it gets
tricky.
It does.
And that's all I'm saying, because it could definitely get tricky. Personally, I would want to know too.
Well,
so my friends know. Well, you
what
got something to tell me? Because you all like,
I'm saying what no. Well, when I was in situations, I'm saying years ago, like that, when I start doing it, if you're smart enough to start doing, you don't go tell the person unless unless he saw you. You can't get around that. But if he didn't actually see you, I ain't telling you who the hell told me.
Yeah.
Ain't none of your business who told me.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't need to tell.
Yeah,
Well, everybody is smart like that. Because some people will go back and be like, Tamika told me. She saw you at.
Yes.
We don't even have to discuss that.
I'm going to say this.
Oh, God. Roz, what are we going to say?
Outside of my cousin Nikki, I ain't telling on nobody.
Don't do that.
Can I be honest?
Yes, you can, Roz.
I don't want to tell on nobody. Actually, what I would do is I would let the person know I see you.
And I
better not see no more.
Now, I might
if I see
even
you
do
again,
yes.
I might tell.
And I can see
So
that.
you trying to give Negro a chance?
It's not that I'm giving him a
You're
chance.
giving the family a chance.
Yes, it's not that I'm getting.
So you checking him for you.
But outside of one person. Well, two people. Well, two people.
But if that's the case though,
You better tell.
so you gonna tell the person that, because if he see you and he know that he's very close, he's gonna more than likely come back and tell on himself.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If he
Yeah,
got
I do agree with that. I totally agree with that, Nikki, because they would feel like,
Like, oh, she's gonna go back and
she's
say,
gonna go back and tell. She's gonna go back and tell.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna either tell on myself or I'm never gonna do this again.
Well,
right.
you know,
I'm never gonna do this again.
If I haven't cut you, you ain't gonna. You know what I'm saying? If I ain't already got over there and took my switchblade out, you ain't gonna even probably be able to get to the phone before I done already got there and called her myself. So it's about to be a problem. What? I'm just saying.
It's her opinion.
What? I'm just saying.
She can say what she likes.
Niggas don't tell.
Tell. Oh,
Cam, you know you better tell me.
And I'm gonna tell too, probably. Like I said, the only thing that would make me not tell is if I know that you're the type of woman that even if I do tell
you gonna turn it around,
make a difference. And that's just like,
but
you know, a woman that's in a relationship
leave that up. It's not
jumped
up to
on
her.
all the time. We know you getting jumped on all the time. If you ain't left after 10 years of getting beat down, then what the fuck you done?
Now, Kim, you just brought up a very, very good point. And I've never even thought of that whole dynamic. If I have a friend, though, and she's in a abusive marriage or abusive relationship, that just makes it very, very touchy right there. Because if you go and tell her that you saw her husband or her boyfriend with a female, and she may go confront him, and I know that, you know, he gonna Emily B her and knock them two front teeth out her mouth.
Yeah, you
then I don't want to go say, you know what I mean? Because now I'm putting her safety at risk.
Well, that's totally
different. Yeah, but
that's totally different.
So I had to just think I might not, you know.
so that's what I'm saying. It's just certain
situations that I might
where you want to say something, and then you have to think about the totality of the situation, and it may not be a good thing to say something.
Well, what about the girl code when you?
Now they already know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Well, what about the girl code when you have friends and your friends befriend your friends, your male friends?
Oh no, I wasn't talking about
or
that.
your male friends befriend your female friends, and now all of a sudden they're friends, and now you out of the loop.
Well,
I've never had.
I think that falls on you or the particular person we're speaking of, because you can't be so friendly to introduce the person you're dating to all of your friends and giving them their phone numbers and taking them out to dinner with all of your friends and doing all of that. So that falls on you.
I agree with that if you're doing that. Mm-hmm. But what if it's just a befriend, you just befriending people? Like you befriended
How
people
else would
on
they
your
have
own.
access to those people?
Without
Exactly.
No, I'm asking you.
Yeah.
How would they have access? So if you went and met a guy, how are your friends getting all of these access to your friends?
Because if I'm in a relationship, or if I just have friends, male friends, or regardless, whatever it is, we're all friends.
So you're making her point. So they're coming around. Your friends are around him by way of you.
Exactly.
So they have access to him by way of you.
Exactly.
So her point is, which I agree with, and I think it just goes back to that whole thing. It's all about knowing your friends. Like I have a lot of, I'm not going to even say friends, but I have a lot of associates for sure, and probably a few friends. But nevertheless, let's just go with the associates, because I do have a lot of associates. But I don't always have all my associates around I'm gonna just say my last boyfriend before my husband, divorced now, but let's just say my last situation. No, because you don't know everybody's intention. You only bring
Amen
your
to that.
significant other, and I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous, never been jealous, love myself, love everybody
You don't
else.
have to explain all that. We know.
But they don't know it. I want to make sure they know it when I'm talking about this. Because I'm very good and very secure. But at the end of the day, you just don't know the intentions of everybody. You know, and we've all probably had situations where, you know, a friend, like we talking about, like, you know, a friend may have done you wrong or something like that. That might have been somebody you thought was really your friend. And then you found out it's really not your friend. You have to really know who you're inviting in your space. And I believe your significant other or your husband, things like that, that's like your family. That's like your personal space. So anybody that's in that space have to be people that you know and that you trust, and people that have your best interest at heart. Somebody that's never going to hurt you. Because that's what you expect from a random person, but that's why you don't always deal with random individuals.
Well, but I can
don't.
speak for personally. She's not talking about random. We're not, of course, going to say any names, but I still
trying not to
feel,
do that.
even
I
if
was
it's
trying
not
to.
anybody that's quote unquote random, even if it's somebody that's kind of close, you still don't have that person. I'm going to just use me as an example. I'm not going to sit here with a man that you're dating and just call him and be like, hey, John, bring me a bottle of wine. Hey, John, what you doing tonight? We don't do that.
Right.
Why?
And
That's
this is
not
my
normal.
good friend,
Right,
and
that's
she
not
has never
normal.
called my boyfriend.
It's just
or
not normal.
asked
It's not
anything.
the
That's
most.
a girl code.
Right, it's
Yes.
a girl. Now the most I might do, like when you were first meeting people, you would just send me a phone number for an emergency purpose. That was an emergency, and it was never an emergency, so a number didn't even get used. You know what I mean? But that wasn't normal behavior. But I just wanted to ask real quick, because before I lose this thought, what are you guys' thoughts on if befriending, or if we're all friends or family, whatever, and then you have a mutual friend, well, you have a friend and then I'm a friend with them as well through you, and then I end up falling out with one of your friends. Like, how do you handle that situation? You know what I mean? Like, how do you handle a situation when one of your friends, you're in the middle basically of a situation because those two friends are they've had a falling out?
What you think, Kim?
I say mutual. I say neutral. I'll make it clear up front. We all friends. I'm friends with this person. I'm friends with this person. I'm not gonna let you talk about her to me. I'm not gonna let her talk about you to me. And when we talk, our conversation is purely on what it is that we talking about. I mean, if y'all have a disagreement, I hope you can work it out. And if you can't work it out, I understand. I'll make sure everything is separate.
I agree. I totally agree. I totally agree. So, yeah, I totally agree. I don't even
And
have
that's
nothing to add.
wonderful, even though it's sometimes easier said than done, depending upon the relationships, because everybody's relationship, personalities and things like that are different. And sometimes you may agree a little bit with one person more so than the other. So I think it's a little bit easier said than done. But that's the politically correct thing to say.
Yeah, and that's how I
I think it's just a politically correct thing to say because until you're in that situation,
right.
you really don't know
that's
what you're going to do because
exactly.
it's been situations where I've never been in a situation where it's been someone introduced me to a friend and I fell out with a friend, but I've been in a situation where one of my friends hurt me, and so my friends, they have a problem with that because they became friends with that friend. But you can't help how someone feels, but what was said to me was, if that person will hurt you like that and I just met them but I'm calling them my friend, I don't have nothing coming.
Correct.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just have to ask one more quick question. I'm just going there with it. I had a little mind. Do y'all think it's ever okay to date a guy that your friend dated that you hadn't had sex with?
That's a negative.
No, I don't.
Now don't be telling fibs because we on the camera. Did y'all hear what I said? If you haven't had sex with them, not if you had. I said if you haven't. I said if you have not had any sexual relationships with him. Okay, let's just not even say
okay.
what
You
about
have
that.
to read for sex.
Okay,
Y'all not drinking.
Right.
I said if the friend haven't had any sex with him. So if I have not, and I'm married, but I'm saying wait, wait. If there was no sex involved,
Okay.
then would it be okay?
All right, so let's just use let's just use that as an example. So I was dating somebody. Is this what you're saying? I'm dating somebody, but we never did nothing.
Right, and y'all,
It didn't work. And then you started dating him, and then it worked.
Yeah, and I'm asking you, is it okay for me to date him? You dated him, y'all was kicking it, but y'all never took it to that level.
I don't think that's a problem.
Right, that's what I'm asking.
I don't think that's a
I don't
problem.
think it's a problem, but I believe I don't think it's a problem, but I believe that if you still friends with the girlfriend, I would definitely bring it to the
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it has to be a conversation.
Yes,
that has
conversation, but
I don't
to me,
expect.
yes, but to me to just do it and
Right,
that
with no
person doesn't know
conversation.
with no conversation, then I don't know. I think that's a girl code.
So Kim asking why? What do you mean why?
So I mean, if you were Tamika, you and Rod, you were the man you was dating, and Rod met the man, and their situation worked out, even if y'all did have sex or whatever the case.
But no, we saying it was no.
But she's
sex
saying
at
even
all.
if it was, let her be her opinion. Let her have her opinion.
Oh God! Everybody, just know all this is hypothetical. Go ahead.
Yeah, even if it was sexual involvement, I mean, you done moved on with your life. I'm sure you looking for other people. If the relationship work out for her, then why would you be mad? I mean, it is what it is. It just ain't work.
That's some grown woman stuff right there.
That is some
I
grown
mean,
woman
that's
stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
That is some grown woman
She
stuff.
basically saying
Because
like if
we
you
all
wasn't in
grown.
love, if this was just
But
what I
that's
call
what
an in between.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even originally, when it was just, if I dated somebody, we didn't do nothing, it didn't work out, or I started dating a person, would I be upset? No. I do agree with the fact that maybe I would have just told her out of respect. I don't know if it was really, if anybody feel like it's not necessary, but my personality just would say, hey, just as an FYI, I just want you to know. Because you never want something to come out. Because you don't never know if he might say something to her, and then you don't want her to be looking like, well, Dad, that's supposed to be my girl.
That out of the conversation.
And she didn't even tell me, so I would say something.
Well, I think we're all in agreement that you have to have that
You
conversation.
just have to have a
Definitely.
conversation.
Yeah, depending on how close you are in the friendship with
Right.
the person. Because if you're just acquaintances.
Oh,
that's
yeah, that's totally irrelevant. They're not factor. No.
Oh, don't say it not factor.
They are an acquaintance.
I don't know if you heard that.
She's an
Kim.
acquaintance across the street. The lady that I waved at earlier.
So Kim, you have anything else to add?
I mean, no, I think I said it in that. I mean, if we was in a relationship, if I was in a relationship with somebody and it didn't work out, like I said, whether it was sex or not, I mean, I really can't be mad at you. You go ahead and do what you gonna do. I'm married, been moved on.
I mean,
Say
yeah.
that, Kim.
Everybody needs love, baby. Everybody.
No, that's right.
I want to Yeah, by all means, have at it. I mean, you can tell me.
Would you tell her about it? Would you give her some pointers on them?
Oh, she's so extra.
What? I mean, she didn't know that. I just want to know.
Kim, she extra.
What?
She gonna ask, would you give the girl pointers? Would you
Right.
give the new girl pointers?
It wouldn't be the new girl. That'd be her girl. Hey, that's her girl.
Yeah, because she's not thinking about the person anymore. So
Right,
why
she
would
ain't
you
thinking
even
about it
say?
no more. So if you done went to her and told her, so if you called her up, she'd be like, well, girl, let me tell you, he like this and this. You know what I mean?
No, they're not cool like that.
No.
Not like that.
Oh, okay. I ain't know. Okay.
Not to be on that level.
Oh, okay.
What did you say, Kim?
You know what I said?
Oh my God, y'all ain't touched y'all, man. What's going on? Y'all just had y'all for show. What's going on?
And you're cut off. So what's up? What were we talking about next?
That was our last subject.
That was our last subject. So Kim, you gonna just take us on out?
Well, I want to know exactly I want to know, Kim,
Uh-oh.
at least 10 girl codes, because let me say this. Me being divorced, and I've been divorced for probably about 2 years now, but still, like, I'm single now and I am trying to date. So I've been married for like 30 years, and that's just counting my first and
How
my
old are
second
you?
marriage.
And how? Yeah, but girl, you
Never
look
mind.
good, girl.
Yeah.
We're not going there on how old I am. But that's counting both, so I'm saying 30 years in total. You know, my first and my second marriage. So what's the girl codes? I would like to know what the girl codes are.
Well, you mean,
Just give me some
you
examples.
mean breaking the
Breaking the girl codes, what to do, what not
But
to do.
that's on
With
your personal
dating,
opinion, though.
Why it's your personal opinion? Nobody can tell you that.
No, because we have some things that just, you said that's a girl code.
We just talked about them. A few of them.
It's all personal, or it's all. What am I trying to say? Never mind. I'm sorry.
I just think it's more
It
about
all has to do
respect.
how we feel about women.
It's about respect. It's about respect and just knowing. I just feel like it's just knowing the people you around. Really and truthfully, I feel like girl codes really don't get broken when you're dealing with real friends and real women. And women that know how to handle themselves accordingly.
First of all, I think if you really, and this quote has been floating around social media for a while now, where it says you cannot be friends with someone who wants your life, and that is so true. You can't be. Meaning, you truly cannot be friends with someone who is jealous of you. If you are not genuinely happy for me, regardless of where I'm at in my journey,
There you go.
where I'm at in my life, I don't need to be around you. So regardless if I'm high or if I'm low, I'm going to be genuinely happy for you because I always want you to succeed.
And be
so I think as
prosperous.
long as you always go by that code, you cool.
Well,
Period.
that's enough for me.
Period.
Kim, you can take us
You
out.
can take us out, Kim.
All right, well then everybody, there it is. That's what make or break a relationship. So at this point, whether you agree or you don't agree, I think that everybody has their opinion on, alternative relationships. I think everybody has their opinion on, side chicks or even breaking the girl code. I hope that if you are ever relocating, your situation works out. And if you are having a long business relationship, y'all can come to some type of mutual agreement. And then as far as marriage goes, I just wish everybody the best in their marriage. And I just hope y'all can get to the case, stay true to one another, keep it sexy, and let's just keep doing our thing out here. So thank you so much again for choosing our opinion today. And we thank you. We wish you all the blessings in the world. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Peace.
Peace.